We have what we call the triglycerol synthesis. So what happens to the triglycerol synthesis? So in the triglycerol synthesis, as we said, because of there is high glucose, and this glucose are converted to glycogen, and this glycogen, since there is too much glucose in our body, or this glycogen or the energy is not used, or the food intake is not equal to the energy expenditure, meaning that the food intake is higher than the energy expenditure, or there is hyperglycemia, meaning what? High blood level glucose. What is happening? You start converting those glycogens to what? Triglycerol. So the process by which we are converting all those fatty acid and glycerols to triglycerols are called, all those fatty acid and glycerols to triglycerols or triglyceride are called esterifications. Don't worry, I'm coming to that. So triglycerol synthesis is we are trying to manufacture or produce what? Triglyceride. And what is happening in triglycerol? In triglycerol, we are combining what? A molecule called glycerol together with a molecule called what? Free fatty acids. And what are we forming? We are forming what? Triglyceride. Triacylglycerol. So this is what we are forming. We are converting glycerol. We are joining glycerol and free fatty acid to form what? Triglycerides. So what is happening? Glycolytic triose phosphate forms glycerol 3-phosphate. So glycerol 3-phosphate is also a pathway in glycolysis, whereby we convert fructose 1,6 bisphosphatase to dehydrogen acetone phosphate and glycerol 3-phosphate. So glycerol 3-phosphate or glycerol will react or join together with what? Fatty acid. They will join together with what? Fatty acid. Look at my fatty acid, look at my glycerol. They will join together, and this process is called what? Esterification. And what are they forming? They are forming what? Triglycerol. So this triacyl, is that you call it triglyceride or triacylglycerol? So they are stored in the adipose tissue. Which area in the adipose tissue? Is called the cytosolic lipid droplets. It stores body largest caloric reserve. So it stores many things. So we have the major product of glucose metabolism. There are 4 key pathways of energy production and storage. So number 1 is glycolysis, number 2 is glycogenesis, number 3 is pentose phosphate pathway, and number 4 is triose diversion of fat synthesis or fatty acid synthesis or triglyceride synthesis. So what is happening? The major route of glucose metabolism. So when you have glucose, so these are major 4 things that are likely to happen, especially during the what? The feeding state or the fed state. In the feeding state, what happens? Hyperglycemia occur. And what is hyperglycemia? High level of glucose in the blood. And which enzyme is released? Insulin. Don't forget that. So in glucose, the first thing that will happen when we eat carbohydrates to digest them is glucose. So when these glucose are ready in the blood or found in the blood, our body will start doing something. Our body will start undergoing glycolysis if they want to actually produce energy, or they are trying to store it, depending. If the energy level is low and you are eating or during the first state, the first thing the glucose molecule in the blood will do, or what the body will do in order to maintain the homeostasis in our body, is to undergo what? Glycolysis. So the question is, what is glycolysis? Glycolysis is the conversion of what? Glucose to what? Pyruvate. So when I am converting glucose to pyruvate, so this process is called what? Glycolysis. Because we are converting what? Glucose to pyruvate. And during this process, 6 carbon atom of the glucose is reduced to what? 3 carbon atom. So during glycolysis, 6 carbon atom is reduced to what? 3 carbon atom. So conversion of pyruvate to what? To generate ATP. So the second process that we are undergoing is what? Glycogenesis. So what is glycogenesis? We are trying to make glycogen. So the word glycogenesis just comes to your mind. Glycogen and what? Cis. Anytime you hear the word cis, this is we are producing, we are synthesizing, we are forming, we are productive. So glycogen there means what? Glycogen. So glycogenesis is what? Stored as glycogen in the liver and muscle. So glycogenesis is what? Making what? Glycogen from glucose whenever there is what? Hyperglycemia, high level of glucose in the blood. And where is it stored? It is stored in the liver and sometimes in the muscle. And the third one is the pentose phosphate pathway. What is happening to the pentose phosphate pathway? Is we are generating what? NADPH. This NADPH and ribose for synthesis. The NADPH are called the reducing power. So what are they doing? They will now go into the mitochondria in the electron transport chain to deposit hydrogen ions and what? 2 electrons or electrons. So what are they doing? So these electrons will now produce the energy our body needs, and the hydrogen ion will now create diffusion gradients that will now convert ADP to ATP. Don't worry, during electron transport chain you understand what I said better. So the last one is the fat synthesis, which is known as triose diversion. So what are we doing? We are conversion of glycerol to what? Triglyceride. So during fat synthesis, we are converting glycerol to triglyceride by a process known as what? Esterification, whereby we are joining glycerols together with what? Fatty acid to form what? Triglyceride. So this process is regulated by insulin and allosteric effectors. Carbon is oxidized for ATP or stored for later retrieval without support.